So welcome back to the Sustainable Packaging Show. We are here to celebrate brands that are using sustainable packaging. That's literally how we make the world a better place when we buy products that are in sustainable packaging. It's something we should all be thinking of. We have wonderful guests today, John and Naja with Born to Be Free, a hot up-and-coming brand. We're grateful for their time coming on the show. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having us.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Patrick. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
We also have Pat on the set, who's usually behind the scenes, the marketing genius slash whatever you want to call him, but happy to have you on the set, Pat. Thanks for joining us as well. So let's begin just by telling our audience about Born to Be Free, what you guys are up to, why you're doing what you're doing. I'd love to start off with that.
Yeah, so of course. So Born to Be Free is our brand. I like to emphasize that we're a brand, and we sell skincare products, non-toxic, all natural, tallow-based skincare, which we could get into. But we launched the end of December 2023, and we've been in business now for about 5 months. And our goal is to handcraft the best skincare products, ranging from soap to body butters, lip balms, sun care line for our customers. And we handcraft everything here in our home in small batches. Everything's handmade ourselves. And Dave, you want to add to that?
Yeah, we kind of went down this rabbit hole. I guess you could say it was after COVID. And, you know, everything really just, we started second guessing everything from our skincare products. Started throwing everything away when I realized that there was a ton of chemicals that were, you know, disrupting our hormones, and food was a whole nother rabbit hole. You know, where we're getting our food sourced from, that was super important to us. So we kind of stopped shopping at the grocery stores and ordering from local farms. And also you went down like the monetary.
Yeah, I should have started with from the beginning. Sorry, but yeah, in 2020, after COVID, as many people did, we went down some serious rabbit holes, got lost. We never found our way back out. But you know,
there we go. Those are good. Those are the kind of rabbit holes you want to go down. The
Yes.
ones that you start to find the truth, maybe.
Absolutely, we're having a great time down these rabbit holes. So I urge
Come
everybody
and
else to join us. Yes. So, you know, shortly after 2020, with all the craziness going on, we were always kind of healthy, you know, always kind of like lifted weights, exercised, ate somewhat healthy.
Meal prep.
Yeah, what we thought was healthy. But after 2020, we really just took everything to a whole nother level. Like Naja just said, she started throwing out the skincare products. I was going down rabbit holes of, you know, the Federal Reserve and all this money printing that was going on, and, you know, how our dollar was going to be debased, and how that actually led to products being debased, ranging from food to architecture to, you know, our infrastructure as a country. You know, you see railroads getting deroded, and bridges collapsing and things like that. Airplanes, you know, Boeing is infamous for all that craziness going on. So we went down all these rabbit holes, and now I just started throwing out all our skincare products, and she started making her own skincare products for us, soap and body butters, lotions, lip balms, and I absolutely fell in love with them. One thing led to another. We started giving them to our family members and our closest friends, because once we started discovering truth, if you will, it was something where we couldn't shut up about it, and started telling all of our family members, you know, to stop shopping at the grocery stores. All the meat in the grocery stores, or 85% of it, is actually coming from countries like Africa and Brazil and Mexico, where there's no regulations, but just because the beef is packaged here, it's allowed to say USDA, you know, raised, grass-fed, grass-finished here in America, which is absolutely not true. So, like she said before, we don't even shop at the grocery stores anymore. We get all of our beef through local small-time ranchers. Our eggs are delivered every Thursday night here to our door. So that's kind of how we got started with that.
Yeah, so we started noticing all these loopholes in the system, and we're like, all right, do we want to be a part of that, or do we want to opt out and build our own parallel structures? So that's what we did with the skincare. And as far as tallow, everybody always asks, well, why tallow, beef fat? That sounds crazy. But for me, it was really just trying to find the best ingredient, not only that would be non-toxic and clean, but the best ingredient for our skin as humans. And it just turned out that after all my research, I've decided that beef tallow was the most compatible ingredient for human skin, and it really does work wonders.
Wow. So we got a lot of rabbit holes, a lot of truth seeking, a lot of enlightenment or potential enlightenment, and all of it comes together around wellness. And I
Yeah.
think COVID was sort of this period where we all started questioning some things, and in particular, wellness and our well-being became a priority. You were investigating, it looks like, what was in your cabinets, and you came across certain products that had toxins in them, and those were the first products that you hit, that you focused on at Born to Be Free. Is that sort of how it happened?
Yeah, it was kind of like, we were big Costco people, right? So we have a Costco closet, or had a Costco
I'm a
closet. Now
Costco person. Oh no, what's about to follow here?
Well, there's, we would buy some things in bulk, like our Dove soap, for instance. That was one thing. When I started looking into Dove soap and all the ingredients in it, the chemicals, and I also started reading up on I was seeing there was a lot of correlation between like cancer and Dove and autoimmune disease. So I just wanted to get away from the chemicals. So our main routines, our daily regimen, like whatever was involved with that, I kind of wanted to start with. So first it was like, all right, we got to figure out how to make soap. So we tossed all the Dove, and then I started messing around making soap, and I nailed it, and it ended up being great. He loves it. And yeah, that's really how it started. And also with the body butters as well. That was one of our first products.
Yeah, and we don't want to get in trouble by saying Dove or anything like that, but this is all in plain sight under the ingredients. Not a lot of people actually read the ingredients, or I should say, not a lot of people know what to look for.
Yes.
So back to the food thing. I mean, there's all these processed foods and keto foods and snacks that parade around as being healthy, and then you turn the label and you see seed oils, you see high fructose corn syrup, and
preservatives, fake ingredients.
Yeah, so in a sense, I don't feel bad because they're actually pretending to be something that they're not. But we're not saying anything that's like a top secret here. Just look at the ingredients and turn it around.
Yeah.
Actually research what you're putting on your body or in your body, and you could come to your own conclusion. And that's what we did. So
there's so many ingredients that you can't even pronounce the names, and you're looking. And even in my own family, after I met you guys, I was looking at sunscreens, which you guys have a great Sun Armor, which we'll get into in a moment. And so many, if you look at these apps, these wellness apps, there's one Yuka that my wife and I use, and you scan them, and like all the sunscreens were coming back like poor, bad, and all these things you can't pronounce. So I think it's a great journey you guys are on. And let's segue, Pat, into the packaging.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about and ask some questions regarding their sustainable packaging, which is really why we're here on the show.
Yeah, let's get to the meat of it. Of course, we want to talk about your packaging, but leading into that, as you talk about jumping down that rabbit hole and making changes in what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, how you're operating as a consumer. You guys are a startup. You're a family business. You have gone through ups and downs growing this to multiple product lines. But all of this sounds like it's kind of based on some core values. And that's something that Michael and I talk about a lot with Package Sustainably, is it's related to our personal core values. So when it comes to your packaging and the business, Born to Be Free, tell us about your packaging, why you chose to start going sustainable from the beginning, and how that choice, how going sustainable, making that a core value of your business, how that reflects on you and who you are and where you come from in this brand.
Absolutely. I love that question. All right. So, with making these non-toxic products, these really clean products, has to come really clean packaging, right? So you kind of defeat the purpose of a clean product when you house it in plastic. It's kind of like when you
It's like putting
go out
seed
to
oil on a
eat.
steak.
Yeah, or when you go, you go to get a coffee somewhere, they give you a plastic cup and they put a paper straw in it. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand. And for us, we really wanted to eliminate all of the toxins in our lives. And with that was microplastics, which are it's in everything. It's insane how it's in everything. But there's only so much you can do. And if this is one thing that we can do to try to prevent it and get away from it, we thought that was, something that we had to absolutely do when it came to our brand. So instead of plastic tubes for lip balms, for example, we use Kraft push-up tubes. I could show
Do you
you.
guys mind showing some of them on the screen for people who are watching with video?
Absolutely. So this is our lip balm. So it comes in a Kraft push-up tube. And unlike a regular lip balm where you twist the bottom, that usually contains plastic, we have a little tamper tab here. So I gotta just pull that off first.
Twist it out.
Did it come off that easy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. And so you could just
Good
push it up.
tamper evidence.
Yep.
Yeah. Push it up from the bottom. And when you use it, you just apply it and then you could just push it right back down with your lips. So it's definitely something to adjust to if you're used to the twist up chapstick tubes. But, when I was making chapstick, I was kind of like, these oils go into the tubes hot and they dry in there. So if you have plastic tubes, your traditional plastic lip balm tube, you're pouring hot oils in there. And that's going to leach the plastics into the lip balm, onto
Very
your lips,
interesting.
into your mouth, and disrupt your whole endocrine system. So,
And funny story, the first batch of chaps lip balm that we ever made, we actually had plastic chapstick tubes, and she poured it in hot, and that's when it hit us, and we were like, wow. We were like, wow, hold on, we're pouring a hot product inside of a plastic tube. At this point, we already had the glass jars, but these actual Kraft push-up tubes are not common. They're very unique. So, like, we're the only ones that I know of that use this for skincare. So we had the glass jars, but we did have the plastic chapstick tubes. And when she poured it in, it was like an aha moment. It's like, oh my God, we're putting hot product in this plastic tube. And we actually threw them all out. Luckily, it wasn't a lot. I think it was only like 20 or 30 chapsticks.
yeah, we were messing around with the flavor and
Yeah,
everything.
so that set us back like maybe a couple of weeks to research and find. So we found those Kraft push-up tubes for the lip balms. And then over here, we have a sun armor stick. This is one of our sun armor lines. And you just pop off and you just push it up and you could just apply on the skin and then push it back down. So
It's very simple, especially when you get used to it. It's definitely different, but again, like, these are things that are worth it to us. And same thing with our glass jars. Everything's in glass jars. All of our body butters. This is actually our tallow-based non-nano zinc oxide sun armor lotion.
which we could get into the difference later. We don't want to throw too much at you guys at first because, like, these rabbit holes run deep.
A lot of knowledge.
They do.
Non-nano zinc and nano zinc oxide.
Yes.
I mean, it gets a little crazy, but
just get me the sunscreen that gets me as jacked and tan as you guys.
You don't even need to go to the gym. You just put the sunscreen on, right, guys?
Just use both to be free.
Joking,
You
just
can have
joking,
five
just
cents.
joking. Well, everything comes at a cost, right? When you talk about, okay, this is a little different. Well, you're getting a major benefit. You're getting a major environmental benefit and a health benefit. And it's actually, you really learn something every day. As I think of sustainable packaging, I think of why brands should do it. Much of why we do this show is to try to encourage, educate brands on moving to sustainable packaging. My argument's always, consumers care about the planet. There's people losing sleep over the planet. What's going to happen? You can resonate with those consumers. But what about what you guys are doing, where you're going to resonate with this audience of consumers who are health conscious, who are concerned with disrupting their endocrine system, which you guys can educate me a little bit on exactly how that happens. But that's sort of another whole market you can access by being more sustainable, environmentalism as well as the wellness community.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it's almost like two different cohorts of people that you just mentioned. So what's inside of the packaging attracts like the carnivore crowd or the animal-based crowd, the people that are in the gym, very health conscious, that are worried about what they're putting in their body and on their body. And then surprisingly, you have the other cohort of people that are more concerned about the environment, that most of the time don't even know what tallow is. They have no idea that tallow is rendered beef fat. And they'll just try our products specifically because we're one of the few companies out there that have a lip balm or a push-up tube that doesn't come in plastic. So, you know, that'll be like the entry point for them. Like, oh, look at this Kraft push-up tube. Let's try this out. And then they try it out and they get more products, and you know, they end up falling in love with tallow and tallow-based skincare products.
Yeah, and it's like two separate worlds of people, like you said, but you know, our values, they align.
Yeah, you know,
Which is interesting.
we're not attracting the vegan crowd, and nothing against the vegans, but you know, they're one step closer to carnivory because at least they're intentional about their
What
diets.
they're doing, yeah.
So
totally.
we could totally appreciate that and respect that. You know, they just don't have all the knowledge yet on certain nutrition. But yeah, it's amazing how many different cohorts of people, because everybody's very tribal now too, right? So you have this crowd over here and that crowd over there, and our goal is to not really go for a certain tribe, but just people that are willing to not have trade-offs. Like a big thing nowadays is like instant gratification. So going back to our brand, we take what's called a low time preference. It's something that's spoken about in economics. It's you may suffer now, but you're trying to build something that's going to last 10, 20, 50, 100 years, as opposed to like all of these publicly traded companies nowadays. They're just trying to get quarter over quarter to beat the earnings from the last quarter, even if that means sacrificing the long-term benefit of the company. And we're totally against that. We're totally opposed to that. So, you know, we're willing to not pay ourselves and just take sacrifices now to try and build a brand that we could pass down to our children, our great-grandchildren, you know, for centuries. And that's really going back to the core values and why we're so happy to be collaborating with a company like Package Sustainably and two of you, because I know that you guys have the same values. So it's like these small entrepreneurs, like all of us, that could start to change the world from a bottom-up movement as opposed to like a top-down.
Well said. I see how much your values drive your behavior, and that's something that we can all learn from. Whatever your values are, actually seeing it manifest in your life as the reality versus just talking and saying things and then not actually living it. So much respect for that. Pat, you want to ask the last couple questions here?
Yeah, I've got so many for you, but we'll keep it to the schedule here.
Bring them on, Pat.
We
We're
have as
ready.
much time as you
Yeah,
guys
you
have.
got
Don't
time.
worry
All
about
right,
it.
you got time.
Throw him a curveball. Let's see.
I don't want to throw you a curveball yet. I'll wait till the end. I got a curveball at the end. So let's talk
She used
about
to be a
Package
softball
Sustainably.
star, so she's good with
All right, great.
curveballs.
All right, perfect. So we've got you on Package Sustainably, one of our first brands. Super proud of it. We'll link it in the show notes at the end of this and get the information out to everybody so you can check them out and see the page. Tell us a little bit about why you joined Package Sustainably. What hooked you onto the concept of this, and even more so, why a platform like this matters for brands and for consumers who are looking to make great educated choices or to just find things that they're looking for. You know, what excites you about this platform? What excites you about being part of this kind of network and mission going forward?
Yeah, so great question, Pat. Thank you for it.
We're both excited about it, as you can see.
Yeah. You know, the main thing I would say is with a lot of the issues going on in today's world, it's people don't know where to start. That's a big issue, right? People get overwhelmed with everything. Like we were talking about the rabbit holes before. So a platform like Package Sustainably is exactly what we're looking for, and it's something that we are honored to have our products on, because it makes it a little bit easier for consumers who don't know where to start. So as Package Sustainably grows and more people find out about it, it's like, hey, you know, you download this app, get on this marketplace, and it's going to connect you to a whole bunch of businesses whose values are aligned with your values or values that you're striving to reach. And you know, it's platforms like that, and it's like I said before, entrepreneurs like you guys and us that I truly believe will make a huge difference in this world. Not just somebody who's looking at the bottom line and just trying for, you know, who have a high time preference mindset that are just trying to, you know, make as much money as possible today and then worry about tomorrow. But you guys are building something that is going to last generations and is actually doing goodness for the world. And
Creating value.
yeah, you guys are the type of people that we want to surround ourselves around, and consumers that actually visit your marketplace are people that we want to be selling to. You know, we're not worried about the crowd that don't care about their health or wellness or the earth. Like, you know, this is our home. Earth is our home. You know, treat it as if you would treat your own home. I don't want to be selling to people that live in a mess and don't care and just, you know, are reckless with their homes. So that's why we're super happy to be a part of this team and this family and to be collaborating with you and other businesses that are going to be part of this as well. Like, I can't wait to support all the other businesses and purchase from them and be a consumer ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. That was beautifully said. You know, it'll be really exciting to have a platform where we can connect with other businesses that have the same values like ours. Just like Public Square. That's another great example.
Shout out to Public Square. You know, that's another great platform, different than you guys. It focuses on, like, you know, American made businesses and things like that. So not all their packaging is sustainable. So for sustainable packaging, you know, we're going to have to hit this marketplace, but
this is different and unique.
Yeah, that's more like made in America type thing. But again, small businesses is what I'm getting at. Decentralizing our economy and getting back to high quality products, value for value.
I love it, and beautifully said. Thank you guys for all the kind words. That was really the genesis of the concept, was this idea that consumers do care about the planet. I just disagree. People say, oh, people don't care about the planet. They do care. They just don't have time to search and shop for all products in sustainable packaging. They're busy, so they buy the plastic that's readily available. So we said, what if we could take all these brands that really care, centralize them so that it's easy for a consumer who's busy, who's tired, who's stressed, but still cares about the planet. And you guys being a part of that is helping make that dream a reality. So thank you guys for your guys' support as well.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Thank you for building it. You know,
Yeah.
So you guys are doing the most important part here.
Yeah, no, it's genius. Such a brilliant idea.
Thank you, Pat. Anything you would say? Well, you're getting called the genius. You say, "Oh, I just
Well,
like
no,
the
no,
basket."
there's
Right,
no,
okay.
we're not, there's no genius here. I do want to ask one. This isn't a wild card to you, and it's not to me, but maybe if you're listening about packaging and you just want to hear that, I want to talk about a question that I've bugged Mike about for a long time now, and you are the answer for it. Your feedback is going to be my new answer. Maybe it's because this is where I live on the internet sometimes when I'm searching around for communities, but you talk about decentralization, you talk about low time preference, you're Bitcoiners, you are, I hear you, I found you, in the crypto Twitter world. I get it. So one thing that I'm curious your opinion on, do you think that those two communities are similarly minded? Do you think there's a shared value system between the crypto community and sustainability? I know it sounds like two big buzzwords, but I really, acting in both of them, I really do, you talk about adaptation and iteration and change and accepting change and taking, those two worlds seem to collide to me. And I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but what draws you to both of those as being, outspoken advocates of both?
You're not crazy at all.
No.
I'm going to let John take this away because he's jumping out of his seat right now.
No, so you're absolutely right. Just minor correction. I would say Bitcoin, not crypto, just because there's a lot of, there are a lot of scams out there and people could get confused. So I'm specifically what you would call, I guess, a Bitcoin maxi or whatever. But absolutely, the Bitcoin industry or community is definitely aligned with the package sustainably. I mean, one big thing is the Bitcoin mining industry. There's a lot of misinformation on that industry specifically, but they are actually one of the greatest tools for cleaning up the environment. Bitcoin mining incentivizes the production of cheap energy, which would be otherwise wasted energy. So a great example, which people actually finally learning about today, and it's coming out, is flaring. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but methane gas at oil and gas sites. So, flames, methane actually emits into the atmosphere. So there's a whole industry of Bitcoin mining companies that will set up shop on oil rigs and all these different job sites, and they'll take that methane. So instead of having the methane emit into the atmosphere, it's being converted into electricity that powers the Bitcoin miners, which then go ahead and secures the greatest monetary network that we've ever discovered as humanity. And furthermore, it actually incentivizes, as I said, the production of cheap energy. So there's a great company called Gridless, and they're building out infrastructure in Africa. And they're actually giving electricity to all of these different villages in Africa. I mean, there's a million great stories and a million different rabbit holes you could go down, but there's kids that would have to stop doing homework at 5 o'clock because it gets dark. And they're just so happy to be able to do their homework and study until 8 o'clock at night because they have electricity. And the reason for that is prior to Bitcoin mining, there was no incentive to go to these locations to actually build out the infrastructure to search for cheap or wasted energy. So obviously with Bitcoin mining, when you do have the computers, the ASICs that mine the Bitcoin and put the transactions into blocks, you are rewarded with Bitcoin. So you're being paid. So these entrepreneurs and companies could say, okay, I'm going to raise all this money. We're going to buy all this infrastructure. We're going to build it out. And we have cheap energy here in Africa. El Salvador is another big one. We went there actually on our 1-year anniversary. Everybody said we were crazy, but they use volcanic energy. So this energy would otherwise have been wasted. And it's actually bringing the cost of energy down. So obviously, supply and demand metrics, demand may be going up, but they're actually increasing supply even more. And also right here in America, in Texas, for instance, Bitcoin miners are the buyer of last resort on the energy grids. So typically in times of high supply and low demand, that energy gets wasted. And now Bitcoin miners are able to stabilize the grid and purchase that cheap energy. And then when demand gets high and supply is low, they go ahead and sell it back to the grid, which helps with blackouts. So there's a whole bunch of sources where ERCOT, the grid, the electric grid in Texas, where they would have went down prior to Bitcoin mining companies being there, and they're able to sustain high demand when they have extreme heat and all the air conditioners are running. So I think a lot of people, a lot of individuals are studying the facts. There's a lot of misinformation out there, as we started the podcast off saying. So people are actually learning about this industry and like, wow, Bitcoin is actually not only just the greatest monetary network that has no government intervention and we could just transact peer-to-peer, no KYC, no AML, no debasing of the monetary system. You own a certain amount of coins from the network and that's yours and nobody can take that away from you. But the mining industry is actually going to bring energy prices down because that's the competition right there. They're all fighting to get cheap energy, which will eventually translate to cheaper energy for consumers across the world, not just in America, not just in Africa, but everywhere. So it's something I'm super excited about, as you could tell.
Absolutely. Wow, Pat, there you go. There's
Change
your
makers.
answer. See, I certainly can't give you that answer. So absolutely wonderful. All right, look, guys, I would actually love to stay on here, but I'm a little late for a management meeting that I need to go to. Where can we find Born to Be Free online besides Package Sustainably, where you guys can check out their packaging and their products? Where can we find Born to Be Free?
Yeah, we're on Twitter, X. We are on Instagram as well. On Twitter, we are born_to_be free. And on Instagram, we are _born_to_be-free_.
And then, of course, our website where you can find all of that is borntobefree.store. And we have monthly newsletters where we get into some of the health and wellness stuff. On Instagram, we do something called Freedom Friday. And it's like just biohacking and wellness stuff that we use in our lives every day. So, like I said in the beginning, we're more than just a skincare company selling skincare. We're a brand, and we want to help people because we look around and we see that people today are in need of help. They don't know where to start, and we hope to be a good entry point for them and to help everybody out.
Beautiful, beautiful. Even the blog has a lot of wellness tips. Even I saw a blog post about the sun, and I'm just, not that we don't know the sun gives you vitamin D, but you really need that sunlight and sun exposure for health. The little things sometimes get you the farthest along. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thanks everyone for listening. Check out Born to Be Free, and thanks Pat for joining us as well. We'll see you
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thank you guys
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye.